Welcome to Just Say This, the place to get all the help you need for the birds and bees talks. I'm your host, Amy Lang. Just a quick reminder, this show is for grown-ups because I'll be swearing. There'll be lots of swears, and then I'll also be talking about grown-up sex. I can guarantee that your kids do not want to listen to this, and they really don't want to listen to it with you. You've been warned. Do you have a question for me? Please give me a call. The phone number is 206-926-1522, 206-926-1522, and I will answer on the show. And if you have a funny sex talk story, please call in those as well, 206-926-1522. Thanks. I kind of thought I was done with some pride stuff, but apparently I am not. So I did a class for parents and other folks about how to talk to LGBTQ kids about sex. As you can imagine, I did get some hate mail, and just FYI, the information is disgusting. It's filth. Don't send this trash to me anymore. But the best one was the person who sent me 4 individual emails about the D-trans movement. The first 2 were just links, individual links. The last one, well, let me read it to you. Before I read her email, I realized I should probably tell you what D-trans means. So it sounds like what it is. It's the idea that people who have transitioned from one gender to another are somehow damaged and ruined, and it's terrible, and it's wrong, and it's probably against Jesus and all that fucking bullshit. There is a huge movement of people who think that when a person transitions or is in the process of transitioning, that it's damaging to them, that it's hurtful, that it's going to ruin them. And don't you worry, it's going to ruin society, right? Our culture. Boom. It's evil. So, not true, not true, not true. I wish these people had something better to do, like, I don't know, worry about the kids who aren't being fed, worrying about all the kids that are in foster care, worrying about pretty much any other fucking thing related to humanity and children. So, the D-trans communities. So here is what she sent to me. Here's her subject line and the rest of the nonsense. D-trans awareness. Please educate yourself so you can educate others. No. Here she says, please educate yourself so you can provide assistance to others in the D-trans community. Here are some resources that might be helpful. I know this is a lot, but I have many more resources, stories, and journal articles if you'd like them. So she has categories: general, orgs, pubs, stats, articles, personalities, quote, personalities, D-trans, grammar issue, books. So she sent me, hang on, I'm going to count, pause. I've been saying she sent me like 20 or so. No, she sent me 49 links. I counted them. Because it's entertaining, I'm just going to give you a few highlights. Please do not go to these. I mean, you could go to these websites, but I just want you to know what's out there. And also, gross. I mean, come on. All right, here we go. Let's see. How about a couple from something she called general. Detransitioners photojournalism. Affirmative Generation Movie. Here's some organizations. Post-Trans, Women's Liberation Front, International Consortium for Women's Sport. I clicked on that, and they just want to keep the vulvas in there, as you can imagine. GenSpec, Society for Evidence-Based Medicine. I'm not even looking at that. Let's see. Here's some articles. D-Trans Awareness Day. Let's see. 3 women talk about their detransition stories. There's some human beings, books, material girls, T, the story of testosterone. Anyway, I just wanted to say that this is good, not good for them, not good for the world. I don't understand why someone would get so hyped up about this when it's such a tiny portion of the population. Anyway, so if you're around a person who's in the D-trans community, I'm going to put some links in the show notes. They are there. So you can go and learn about this crapola and also get some talking points so you can support your humans in your life who are heading down this path. Of course, you can't change people's minds, but you know how people's minds are changed one person at a time. Anyway, that was part of my hate mail, and I just also want to say hey and thank you so much to the people who sent me love mail. It felt so good to see that. And for those of you who are worried about me getting hate mail, I've been doing this for a long time. I've had a lot of hate mail. I don't give two fat fucks. So there you go. All right, on with our show. Still in the LGBTQ universe, but hey, that's the way it goes sometimes because pride's not going away, right? Just because there's a month doesn't mean there isn't a lifetime or every day.
Hi, Amy. I was calling with a question regarding my 4-year-old son. We have been reading It's Not the Stork and doing all of the sexual education that we can since he's about to turn 5 and starting kindergarten. However, we have run into issues talking about transgender and those kinds of topics, specifically because his teacher identifies, her title, she changed it to MX, mix, and she is female, but just as more masculine. So, of course, we haven't really, asked her any personal questions, but she's great. We love her. Anything that she wants, it's fine with us, but it's been hard answering questions regarding that. He's very, very curious, and he's asked multiple times whether or not she's a boy or a girl, and we do the best we can. We have told him that she was biologically born a girl, but feels like she's a boy, and, we respect people's preferences, and everybody's beautiful, and that's just what we keep saying to him, but it doesn't really seem to be sufficing for him. So I'm not really sure how else to address it, or if you have any recommendations or anything else to add. We try to be as honest as possible, and when he asks, we just answer the best we can. It's just been a little bit more difficult. I've been going through all of your lessons and the chirps and things, but maybe a script would be super helpful for us if you have anything like that.
It sounds like you've done a really good job of explaining this to your kiddo. And the thing is, at 5, for a person whose world is very gendered, it can be confusing and hard to understand. So it's not a surprise that he doesn't quite get it. And that's okay. Trying to convince him to understand is really not going to work. And he will get there eventually, especially if his peers are all saying mix and using the pronouns that this person wants you to use. I don't know. You said she and him, so I'm not quite clear there. That's important. But with your kid, I think the more important thing is to kind of keep saying what you've been saying. Everybody's different. Everybody feels different. Some people are born and they might have a penis or a vulva, but they don't feel like that is who they are, like a boy or a girl. And so keep that up and keep it kind of chill. So if you're pushing on this because you don't want to offend the teacher understands that these people are not going to understand this really quickly. So if you're concerned about that, I would take it down a notch. I would tell them that you are really working with your kiddo to help your child understand the circumstance around the gender change and the gender differences. And hopefully the teacher is able to talk to the kids a little bit or read some books that will help the kids understand. But at 5, it can be really hard to get this concept. Come on, 35-year-olds don't understand it. The nice thing about little kids, though, is that they're much more flexible. So they'll be like, okay, that's the way it is. And so I would just give it some time and read some new books to them, not now, like give him a break around it so he can kind of sort it out. I do have some books to recommend, and I have a couple of caveats about them. So there are some that are really popular, like Red, A Crayon Story, or My Princess Boy, or Jacob's New Dress, I Am Jazz, and some of these are really great, but one of the things about them, as sometimes happens with children's books about issues that are more complicated for adults, is that they have a high level expectation of someone to being able to translate, a 6-year-old or 5-year-old, be able to translate being a red crayon at crayon birth, but really feeling like a blue crayon or whatever. I can't remember who's what there. So that means that a little person has to figure out, oh, red crayon means they were born with a penis. Blue, now they're a blue crayon, means that they identify as a girl or a woman. Anyway, so be careful about these. But here are a couple that I really think will be helpful to your child. They are about people who were, given the girl gender at birth and then are not feeling that way. So there's one that's called Annie's Plaid Shirt that I think will be helpful because it's a progression of things. So I think that's a good one. There's another one called I Am Not a Girl, a transgender story. That one is helpful. And let me see what else. I Am Jazz is classic, so you could try that one, and it's really nice because it is the true story of this person. You could try that one. Anyway, I would also ask what's happening at school. I mentioned, are they reading books? I think they should be reading books, but not every school is willing to do that because of, the bullshit. All right, let me think if there's anything else. So I think sort of summing it up, get a book, read it, and then just wait. Just wait. I think the other thing too is as the classroom evolves, as all the kids are starting to understand this, and also, like I said, ultimately, little people are like, whatever, you do you. Good news, unless they're in a family that's really pushing against this, and then that's an entirely different problem. All right, super happy to hear that you're reading It's Not the Stork. I'm delighted you're a member of the Solution Center and that you're really getting ahead of this because the way the world is rolling right now, especially with LGBTQ stuff, our kids who are young need to be really full up of good, healthy, positive information about this because we're going to see more and more and more people coming out. And if your child's ahead of the game in terms of their confidence and understanding of this, everybody's going to do better. So go you.
Hi, Amy. My name's Barbara, and I just had a question for you. My son is almost 10, boy, and we're very strict. He doesn't have a phone. He doesn't have, any way to text friends or any of that. My question is, how do we navigate how to handle when he's at friends' houses or hanging out with friends who parents did give them a phone? Again, more and more kids are getting phones, playing on iPads, and I don't want to be that helicopter parent that doesn't let them go to friends' houses or hang out with other kids, but I also can't control what other parents are giving their kids or enabling them with. So how do we protect our kids when we have strict rules, no phone? I don't plan on giving him a phone for a long time. But again, even his close friend just got a phone. So now I'm faced with, do I allow him to go to this friend's house, or do I be that parent that basically tells the other parent, don't allow your kids to have their phone around my kid? It's a lot to navigate right now. And he's getting into that tween age where, again, more kids are having phones, technology, and access to the internet, and I'm not okay with that. So just not sure what you recommend for that. Thank you. Love your show.
The short answer is yes, you need to be that parent. I do not understand why anyone would give a 10-year-old a phone. I realize that it's the wave of the future. It's been the future. And as a grown-up who has a phone, you know what a problem they can be. I am against 10-year-olds having a phone in any way, shape, or form. So, are you? And yeah, you have a lot to handle. I believe I heard a baby in the background. So whether that's yours or it's just in your life, that makes it even more complicated. Just your life. So, a couple things here. First of all, you need to stick to your values, and your kid's not going to like it. As always, we don't care if our kids don't like our values, our rules, whatever. It's not about them. It's not up to them. This is about his health and his safety, and also you showing your child how you stand for your beliefs, and this is going to serve them in the long run. In the meanwhile, it's not going to be so much fun for you. If your person and you're listening, and your child has a phone, and they're 10 or under the age of 13, then I think you should take that thing back. It does not serve them. We all managed to grow up without having somebody tracking us, without having somebody able to constantly communicate with us. And if you can imagine what it's going to be like, they're not going to be able to complete a sentence if they never have to have a human interaction. Okay, I'm just a little worked up here, and that is not true. Anyway, what you can say to this parent is, I just need to let you know that I am a total freak show when it comes to my kid or our kids being online and having access to the internet and actually having a phone at this young age. We're not going to have that happen. We don't, we think he should be older when he can be more trustworthy and safer online and that kind of thing. So I realize your kid has a phone, and I know this is maybe going to sound a little nuts, but I'm going to ask that when my kiddo's over at your house to play, that the phone and the iPad and the internet is not part of their time together. I realize that this is a whole big part of kid culture, and it might be an imposition, but this is just something that's super important to me. So I'm hoping that that would be okay with you. Then you're going to shut up, and you're going to wait, and you're going to see what they say. A couple other questions you can ask is, so what kind of parental controls are on it? Like, I don't even know how this works with a 10-year-old. Can I see the phone? Like, what is he able to do? And so you're going to be a little curious, and you've really got to be careful not to be judgy, so don't be me. And then have a little conversation. So most parents have fallen for parental peer pressure. They want their kids to fit in. We all want our kids to fit in. And honestly, fitting in is important, but also if your kid's trying to fit in and it's not really healthy or safe for them and you're allowing that, that's not good. And you know what? It's not about your kid. It's about the parent. It's about you. This is part of parenting. We have our shit that shows up with our kids. So I definitely remember not fitting in with my friend group, especially in the tween years, or feeling like I was an outlier and having people tease me and bully me. And that's part of childhood. It's not good, but it also helps us become resilient. So I would strongly, I'm not talking to you, my sweet caller, I would strongly encourage you, if you are giving your kids phones at younger and younger ages, if you're allowing, them to do things that aren't particularly safe, why? What's up? What's your motivation? And if it's you want your kid to fit in, then that is not a legit reason. Now, there are some circumstances, I guess, where a 10-year-old might need a phone walking home from school. Nope, we all manage to make it home from school. There's always an adult that has a phone. There's always a place where a kid can ask for help. So just a little side note, asking a mom with kids, a dad with kids, somebody who's a grandma, a grandpa, that is a perfect person to ask. Remember that 99.999% of people are going to help a child. They're not going to molest them. They're not going to kidnap them. That is absolutely not a thing. So the other thing, like with the walking home thing, is we still have this hangover from stranger danger. Strangers are not a threat. It's someone in your family. It's their coach. It's their teacher. It's their priest, right? Those are the people who are dangerous. Sorry if you're getting paranoid. Anyway, I'm a little off track. This is not a safety issue. It is setting your child up for trouble, so they have no need to have a phone. So anyway, back to you. So you're going to have that conversation. You're going to see how it goes. You need to be really careful not to be shamey, right? I get to be shamey. I am fine with shaming adults. I know some people are going to be like, oh my God, you're terrible, Amy. Like, I don't know, whatever. So being very careful about that. The other thing too is to make your house the place to come. So have really cool and fun stuff to do. Do some research about some relatively clean, projects. Have them bake cookies. Have them go outside and trampoline and make one of those things like with marbles and windmills. I can't think of the name of the thing. Like, give them opportunity to do all kinds of different things at your house. Make it fun. Have all the crap snacks. Who doesn't love a Cheeto? I love Cheetos, nacho cheese Doritos, gummy worms. I'm not there for that. Anyway, so that's what I would do. And here is this thing that I love that you've probably heard me say before. A, you're an outlier parent. That is good. B, what you're doing is what I like to call parent-led sex ed, right? So at the end of the day, for me, it's all about the porn. So parent-led sex ed, parent-led health, safety. So when you do this, even if that person says, I'm going to let my kid have this phone, you understand that, you know that, but you've planted a seed. Anyway, I hope there's some things you can take away from this. Good luck. You can do this. At the end of the day, you're setting a great example for your kid, for your family, for other friends and family. The other thing too is I might cast around for some friends who share your values about this and maybe point your kid in that direction. Okay, I hope this helps. Good luck. You've got this. Go you. Very excited to hear that you're doing this. And other listeners, I hope that you can take this to heart and you're going to do what you're going to do. But again, at the end of the day, it's about your child's health and safety. It is not healthy or safe for your kiddo to have a phone if they're under the age of 13. Honestly, it's not healthy or safe for us to have phones because we have all kinds of bullshit that we do with them that is not good for ourselves or our families. But you know about that. And in an upcoming chirp, I have a new word that I'm very excited about. And also, it's a thing about phones. Okay, bye. And now it's time for a funny story from the Birds and Bees Talk Trenches. If you have a hilarious tale, please give me a call, 206-926-1522, and leave a message because we all want to laugh.
My son has said a couple of things that have made us laugh. One is, we were changing to get ready for swim together, and he just says, I like your breasts. So I just said thank you, but I did hear on one of your other episodes that you said maybe avoiding getting naked around him for a little bit until kind of that subsides maybe would be best. So I'm going to be doing that, but I thought it was funny. Just, I like your breasts. It's like, thank you, I guess. And then he also said when we were going through reading the book, he said, when I grow up, I'm going to have your babies or have babies with you. So we thought that was funny. When I grow up, I'm going to have babies with you. Obviously, we had to say, no, that's, not how it works. You're going to meet somebody you love, and, if y'all decide to have babies, you will. But anyway, so those are some funny stories that we thought you'd like to hear.
Yeah, I have a clarification. So yes, it's super funny how a person can just casually say, I like your breasts. And this can be really common. And so the thing my point of clarification is this. One comment like that, kind of offhand, is nothing to worry about. Now, if he keeps talking about your breasts, if he wants to touch them, if he's a little obsessy about it, then I would say put your clothes on. So in the meantime, get changed in front of him. As all y'all know, I think it's really important for kids to see a natural, normal, typical female body. Pubic hair and all. There's going to be some pubic hair talk coming up, not this episode. All right. And thank you for your funny stories. Again, everybody, I love funny kids stories. They're so flippin' funny. So please call in, tell me them, share them with the world. That's it for this week. Thanks to everyone who's been calling in. The number's 206-926-1522, so please leave me a message if you have a question or a tale from the trenches. And thank you to Melanie Smith, my producer, and to Rolf, who wrote the Birds and Bees and Kids theme song.